out a video about 2 weeks ago. And he put out a video about the history of Halloween monsters tier list. So let's do this where we take a look at Trout's Halloween tier list. Or Halloween monster tier list, shall we? Let's take a look.
Stay tuned for part 2 when I break down the origins behind all of the goblins and ghouls and spirits and monsters that we associate with the holiday. Thank you for staying tuned. Welcome to part 2. Today we're going to be breaking down the origins of the spooky monsters associated with Halloween, and since I'm a YouTuber, I will be putting them in a tier list. I'm King Trout, and patience is a virtue. Today's video is sponsored by Exter. Gone are the days of sitting on your wallet feeling like you're incubating a brick with the Exter Wallet Pro. It has a slim, stylish design and is available in a variety of colors and designs for both him and her.
No, Gore, the part 1 is what I have on tap for Halloween. That's the one I'm
Lizard,
that's the one I've got.
Lizard.
Stop looking at me that.
Lizard.
Where'd he go? Oh, he's hovering. Why do you keep hitting me with the lizard? Phrasing.
50 pop-up mechanism, so your cards are easily available, and you feel like James Bond when you're going to pay for things. Plus, it's got RFID protection, so the only worry you have is losing your wallet. But wait, what's this? It's the Exter Finder card, which pairs to your phone so you can GPS track your wallet. Exter also has something called the Travel Vacuum Kit, which may unironically be one of my favorite things ever. I travel all the time, and for some reason have an intense aversion to packing more than one bag. Like, you know, people will bring carry-ons and you put it in the overhead container. Well, I only bring a personal item, one backpack, everything in there. Check this out, it's got 4 days worth of clothes in it.
Nice. Interesting.
Went to Florida recently, and I packed 5 days worth of clothes. Fits very easily in a backpack. Super duper convenient. I love this thing. Right now, Exter's running a sale where you can get up to 35% off site-wide, and you can get an extra 10% off if you use code KingTrout. Click the links below. Thank you very much to Exter for sponsoring the video. Back to it.
Bye, Moodang. That was Moodang, everyone. For those of you that were wondering what Moodang or who Moodang is from the last video, that was Moodang.
Vampires. Imagine Europe in the 1300s. Rats, filth, and zero concept of germ theory. You mean to tell me there are tiny bugs living on me that I can't see that are making me sick? Sure, crazy. When villagers started dying off in droves, those left alive needed someone to blame. And who better to blame than someone who cannot defend themselves? Dead people. Bodies were exhumed, and when they were dug up, they were found to have swollen bellies with dark blood around their mouths. Now you, with your highfalutin knowledge of modern science, might blame this on decomposition gases, but you'd be wrong. The real answer is they got bellies full of meat, because they've been munching on people. That's what they thought anyway. The word vampire first appears in Eastern Europe in the 1720s, and there are Austrian records documenting alleged outbreaks wherein villagers would exhume corpses believed to be these undead cannibals. They would behead them, stake them, burn them. It was plague logic.
Yeah.
If people are getting sick, you need to destroy the supposed carrier, which in this case they believe to be dead people. Fast forward to 1897 when Bram Stoker wrapped up every Victorian British fear: foreigners, death, sex.
Well, like leave us not forget, this was also, I think the time period that Trout was referencing initially. I could be mistaken on my time period, but that may have also been the period of time when they actually buried dead people, or maybe this resulted from it. I could be mistaken. There was a period of time, you know, like a century or so ago, maybe slightly more than a century ago, where when people buried the dead, they actually tied a string to like their toe or their finger, ran it up through the casket, up through the earth, and basically draped the cord over like a metal hook right beside that was like right beside the grave that had a bell attached to it. So that way, if they accidentally buried a person that was still alive, they could ring the bell and somebody could come dig them up before they suffocated to death. I can't recall exactly the time period of when this occurred, if this happened before or after the time period that Trout was just referencing, but that was a thing. And yes, that's where the term graveyard shift came from, is you would have people, you as men, like patrolling the graveyards, listening for a ringing bell to indicate that, oops, we accidentally buried a living person.
Up every Victorian British fear, foreigners, death, sex, female lust, into one caped villain. Partially inspired by the very real Vlad the Impaler Dracula. The book was an instant hit. Despite the fact that it sucks, it is so boring. Despite my opinions, though, the book was a hit and is one of, if not the most famous horror novels of all time. Which, in fairness, what is scarier than a Romanian? So, the association between vampires and horror was well established in our popular culture. Hollywood took the wheel in the 1930s when Bela Lugosi took the role of Dracula and completely hammered what we think of when we conceptualize a vampire into the cultural zeitgeist. By the 80s, the Lost Boys threw a little punk twist on a vampire.
Okay. One of my favorite vampire movies. I fucking love The Lost Boys. Hate the sequels. I absolutely fucking hate the Lost Boys sequels. The OG Lost Boys? Fucking love this movie. One of my all-time favorites. Fucking Kiefer Sutherland right here. Billy Wirth right here. I forget who the blonde was in the middle. And then you had, what's his first name? There's something Winters. Alex Winters. Alex Winters over here. Twitch chat, you're actually blocking him. You might recognize him. Hey, look, everyone. It's Bill S. Preston, Esquire. That's right. Bill of Bill and Ted was a vampire in The Lost Boys. And then, of course, Kiefer Sutherland. Billy Wirth? You know how I know Billy Wirth? Is I saw a video of him back in the 90s, I think is where it came from. I vaguely, I was watching clips of, there was the show American Gladiators, and Billy Wirth was actually a contestant on the show American Gladiators and actually achieved one of the fastest times for the end run challenge for American Gladiators back in the 90s. He was a very athletic person. That's him right there. That's Billy Wirth. So, and this is just the vampires. This is before we even get to the human characters and, great fucking movie. This was just a great fucking movie.
2008, Twilight, Obama-era vampire.
Yes,
sparkle.
Bruce, I have.
The movies really aren't that bad, I'll be honest. I've watched them with a girlfriend before. Anyway, vampire.
Trout. Trout. The movies are fucking terrible. The Twilight movies are absolutely fucking terrible. God help me, I've seen them. Except the last one. I did not see, though, I did not see Breaking Dawn Part 2. I refuse. The Twilight movies are so fucking bad. They're so Leo, you activated the tism, goddammit. You activated the tism.
My favorite vampire movie was Dracula Dead and loving it with Leslie Nielsen as Count Dracula.
No. 50 Shades of Grey is literally a Twilight fanfiction. That is literally what 50 Shades of Grey is. It is a BDSM Twilight fanfiction that is an absolute abomination to both the BDSM community and the writing profession. Well, if you're aware, then why did you activate my tism like that? Why for you do this to me? Et tu, Leo? Have you betrayed me, my stray? Raven, I'm sorry. Interesting concepts. Glowing vampires or sparkling vampires is not an interesting concept. I will defend that position. I will defend that position till I die. Sparkling vampires are not an interesting concept. The fact is, Stephanie Myers, when she wrote the Twilight series, Stephanie Myers actually had no fucking clue about anything vampire. She knew nothing about vampire lore whatsoever when she wrote Twilight, and it shows.
There's parasitism, romanticized. They symbolize lust, contagion, what goes on in the shadows of our society. Where do vampires sit on our tier list? F tier, immediately. Worst monster. Hate vampires,
What?
they're lame, and they're gay. What are their weak?
Down! Incorrect! Incorrect route! 9! Vampires are easily A tier. I would easily put vampires into A tier, thank you. Not F tier. Dang it!
Weaknesses? Being beheaded. Okay, me too. Stake to the heart. Okay, me too. Garlic. One of the most common spices in the world kills
Okay,
them.
most
Garlic.
vampires
It's
are
in
not allergic to
everything.
garlic.
In garlic sauce.
Sunlight. The sun kills them. Christianity kills them. Shit-ass monster. Get him the hell out of here. F tier.
Christianity doesn't necessarily kill them. It depends on which lore you're talking about. If you're talking about like the stereotypical one, yes, most vampire stories, the cross doesn't hurt them. The whole thing about can't enter it, no. Holy water, yes. The cross, no. Although, again, it depends upon which lore you're talking about. Okay? It depends on which lore you're talking about. For me, my lore when it comes to vampires is I go by Vampire the Masquerade lore. That is what I go by. So garlic does not do fuck all. Stake through the heart doesn't actually kill a vampire, it just puts him into torpor. So say to suspended animation. Crosses can be repellent, but they don't actually kill a vampire. Silver does not do dick. And the lack of reflections is not a thing. That's where I go with my lore. My lore that I usually go by when it comes to vampires is typically Vampire the Masquerade. That's kind of where I default to in terms of the lore.
Put them below F tier. Next up, werewolves. Back in the olden times, Europe
Hey,
had a
yo,
habit of calling anything or anyone
Oh God. Chat. I need a quick check. Where is Bao? Where is Bao, chat? Is Bao in the chat right now? If Bao is in the chat, all the pumps in the world are not going to help you on this one. Bao is worse than me when it comes to werewolves, okay? Is she in the chat? Are you guys safe?
who was a little too wild, a wolf. In Greek myth, Lycaon, this guy served Zeus a baby for dinner. Bold strategy. How'd it pan out? Zeus didn't like it, and as punishment, turned him into a wolf. Hence the term lycanthropy. In the modern day, wolves are seen as an animal, of which we completely misunderstand the social structure because one guy lied about it.
God damn it! I should have seen this coming. Thank you, anonymous gifter. Thank you very much.
Back in the 70s, and everybody still believes that to be the case, even though he was like, no, I made all of that up.
Wait.
Of which we completely misunderstand the social structure because one guy lied about it back in the 70s, and everybody still believes that to be the case, even though he was like, no, I made all of that up.
I don't think David Meach actually said that he made it all up. I don't believe but the whole thing about wolves having an alpha. Yeah, exactly, Alistair. That's where I was going for. He didn't lie about it. He misunderstood it. And he actually said that he misconstrued or misunderstood the pack hierarchy structure of wolves. He thought he did an observation and L. David Meach mischaracterized the pack hierarchy. But after he had published his works and he realized, I got this wrong. He admitted, I got this wrong, and spent like the rest of his fucking life saying, no, I got this wrong. This is incorrect. I was wrong about this. So Trout's greatly mischaracterizing what David Meach did. So he didn't lie. He got it wrong, and he admitted he got it wrong, and spent the rest of his academic life telling people, no, I got this wrong. I fucked this up. I got this wrong.
Yeah, the wolf culture doesn't work anything like you think it does. But for the majority of human history, wolves were a serious problem. Not only will they potentially kill your livestock, they'll potentially kill you. Imagine you're a farmer in rural France in the 1400s, and then your wife is like, I'm gonna go wash the clothes in the river, and then just never comes home because she got devoured by wolves. That was a thing that would happen. Like all the time. There's a reason most of our folk stories that originate in Europe have wolves as the bad guy. Medieval Europe between the 14 and 1700s basically turned werewolfism into a moral panic. Some livestock goes missing. I don't know who did it. Maybe it was that guy. I bet he becomes a wolf at night. I don't really care for his personality. It was basically the male equivalent of a witch hunt. The church framed it as a sin of the flesh. Wolves represented chaos, hunger, and male lust. The men accused of being wolfmen were usually rural outsiders, loners, or the mentally ill. Regardless, the metaphor is quite obvious. Werewolves represent the darkness inside all of us that's only a thin layer away from being released.
I kind of disagree with this. I don't think that werewolves represent a darkness inside us. I would actually classify it more like werewolves represent the much more baser primal instincts that reside in us, like dating back to caveman era. Not like it's a darkness, but it's that primal instinct that is baked into our DNA from back during the Cro-Magnon and era. So I will disagree with Trout on that respect.
Man versus beast, ego versus id. Once again, Hollywood solidified the template. In this case, in 1941, with The Wolfman. The story of a tragic loner, cursed by nature. And then the story gets renewed, every 10, 15 years or so. American Werewolf in London, peak cinema.
Yeah, great fucking movie.
I also forgot to mention that the oldest surviving written fiction that we have, the Epic of Gilgamesh, also tells the story of a man who is transformed into a wolf as punishment. Werewolves are the oldest legend because they're the best legend. It's so simple. It's so simple. Humanity's terrified at what lies inside of us, what we're capable of.
Yeah, Revan, my opinion, like when you brought up Van Helsing, I think the Van Helsing movie is one of the few movies. Underworld did a pretty decent job of it too. But Van Helsing is probably one of the best Hollywood representations of a werewolf. I think Hollywood actually got the concept, like the visual concept of the werewolf right in that movie. Again, the Underworld series also did a good job with it as well. But I definitely, Van Helsing always sticks out to me with it. And, I wish more Hollywood movies about werewolves would use those as the basis for when they show a werewolf in its full wolfman form. Because they look fucking badass. They look absolutely badass, and I love them.
Becoming when we lose our restraint. Where do werewolves lie on our tier list? S tier, obviously. Actually, better than S tier. They're cool. They're jacked. I'm a werewolf. Double S tier. SS tier. Maybe not that
one. Trout? Are you sure you're not thinking of a completely different movie? Elsa, the she-wolf of the SS? I think Trout is mixing up his movies a wee little bit here. Huh. Uh-huh. And yes, okay, Alex, Bow. There is no tier list that can contain the werewolf for Bow. Okay, Bow's tier list on werewolf is, oh dear God, fuck me and breed me right now. I want to be bred. Dear God, breed me now. That is Bow's werewolf tier list. There's F to S, and then dear God, breed me now. That is Bow's tier list. Oh, pluck me. God damn it. I walked into that one, didn't I? I did. Oh, fuck. I walked right into that one. Son of a bitch. I'm never gonna live this down. I'm never gonna live this down, am I? Okay, maybe if I pretend it didn't happen, it'll go away. Let's move on. God, I'm so wet right now. I mean,
One. Triple S tier. Give him an extra S. Just don't, not the two S's one. Retrospectively, I shouldn't have started with my least favorite monster and then my favorite monster. The rest are going to be in the middle of those two. Next up, zombies. Zombies began with enslaved Africans and Haitian voodoo. In this Haitian belief, a zombie, with an N and no E at the end, was a soul that was either trapped or reanimated and forced to do the bidding of a sorcerer. Its slavery turned into spiritual metaphor. And in the original mythology of the zombie, these Haitian voodoo communities weren't afraid of, like zombies biting people. The fear and the horror came from the concept of losing your personal autonomy for forever, which conceptually is much more terrifying than somebody wanting to bite you.
And I think there were, what was it? I think it was The Serpent and the Rainbow. That was a movie about zombies, but it dealt with what Trout's talking about, which is the voodoo aspect, where the protagonist in Serpent and the Rainbow was like drugged. Like he was like poisoned or he was drugged, and that turned him into like a living zombie. It's like it's been a while since I've seen it, but it basically turned him it touched on like, okay, this is where the concept of zombies actually comes from, is voodoo. And what, the voodoo drugs or voodoo poison that can basically, enter your mind, like you become trapped within your own mind, essentially. And you do become a zombie. You still you're walking around, but you're like you're a shell of yourself, and your consciousness is trapped inside the back of your mind, and you have like no control over your own body.
Anyway, when U.S. Marines occupied Haiti in 1915, they took the myth back home with them, stripped it of context, and basically made it just an exotic horror story. Once again, Hollywood came in, turned it into a movie, White Zombie, where the concept was still kind of there. A sorcerer controls a woman's will, her magic.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that. Fast forward to George Romero, 1968.
Yes.
Night of the Living Dead essentially birthed the concept of the modern zombie. Mindless, flesh-eating, apocalyptic. Romero's zombies were an incredibly ham-fisted
Sounds like
allegory
someone on
for
Crocodile.
I have no idea what crocodile is, so okay.
conformity and consumerism without thought and blah, 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 blah. Either way, he birthed the concept of the modern zombie. By the 2000s, post-9/11 paranoia and pandemics birthed the so-called fast zombie. Because, as a concept, zombies are a hell of a lot scarier if they're not slowly shuffling towards you. Modern zombies...
Okay, hold up. In fairness, this is not a zombie. This is 28 days later, and 28 days later was not zombies. 28 days later was just infected crazy people. They weren't actually dead. It was the rage virus. It basically, the rage virus just essentially kicked their adrenaline into overdrive, removed all humanity from their minds, and just had them go crazy. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Luke. It was like supercharged rabies. So they weren't exactly zombies. They were just infected wild animals, effectively speaking, at that point. Now, if you want to look at World War Z, number one, don't. World War Z, the movie, is an absolute bastardization of World War Z, the book. The two have absolutely zero in common with one another. On its own, if World War Z did not have the World War Z licensing behind it, it could be a very fun zombie movie all on its own, like an original, like its own original, like property. The thing that killed it was the fact that it piggybacked off of the popularity of the World War Z book, but it had absolutely nothing in common with the World War Z book except for like one or two little nugget kernels in there, and that was it. That's like.
My favorite book is Rise Again by Ben Tripp. In that book, zombies or zeros can talk and think.
Interesting. It's not the first time we've heard about that because we saw that in Day of the Dead. In the Day of the Dead series, zombies can talk and think, so would be the first.
These are a hell of a lot scarier if they're not slowly shuffling towards you. Modern zombie fiction tends to follow a pretty similar format. Fear of contagion, fear of collapse, fear of community.
Dear God, fuck me and breed me right now. I want to be bred. Dear God, breed me now. Tanashi! Why? Why? Why would you do this to me? Oh, I am so fucked. Oh, I am so very fucked right now. Okay.
Moisturize me. Moisturize me.
Tanashi? That tangent you made just better be set at 1,000. Okay, that tangent, if it's not already, set that tangent to 1,000. I do not want that thing getting pulled out every 5 seconds. Phrasing. Okay, good.
We can trust anymore in this world. Where do zombies fit on our tier list? I'm gonna go solid B, a little bit better than average. The only reason I put them at B instead of like A, because as a concept it's fun, is because of that like bacon era, I call it, the early 2010s. There was way too much zombie-related media.
Yes.
Really.
Oh, yeah. For fuck's sake, Angry Joe made a running joke about this, where OJ would come in and go, "Hey, Joe, you want to play a zombie game?" And, like, it was a fucking running joke that, like, the zombie genre got absolutely beaten to death. It was zombie everything for like 6 years. Literally everything was zombie. Walking Dead, Resident Evil, World War Z, there was iZombies. What was it? Oh God, what was it called? It was the Netflix show with Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant. Santa Clarita Diet, Z Nation, Zombies. Like, it's... High School of the Dead came out before that big thing, rather. High School of the Dead, I'm pretty sure, came out before the big zombie explosion in popular media. It probably came out, like, I'd say a couple years just prior to that. Yeah, Warm Bodies. Like, there was a literal zombie fever in entertainment media for like 6 years or something, and it got done to fucking death. Like, people were like, "I'm fucking done with zombies" afterwards.
Really got played out. Granted, at the time, I was like 13. I was a young teenager, so it was fun. You talk to your buddies about like what your zombie survival plan is. I had the zombie survival guide. World War Z was
Max
huge.
Brooks. Max Brooks, who hang on.
I had the zombie survival
This was a companion to World War Z. That's why Max Brooks wrote this. She wrote this as a companion to his World War Z book. And it's actually pretty cool. I've looked through the zombie survival guide. It's actually pretty interesting. It's actually quite neat as a concept, as like a fictional concept of a fictional survival guide for the zombie apocalypse. It's pretty fucking cool.
Guide. World War Z was huge.
Yeah.
B, very, very okay, but very played out. Next up, witches. Witches, as a concept, are basically as old as humans are. Somebody nefariously practiced.
S tier, S tier, S tier. I'm already saying it. Fucking S tier. Witches are fucking S tier. I'm cool. I stopping you right now. They are S tier. I will accept no substitutes. I fucking love werewolves and witches are my fucking favorite, like, Halloween-esque, quote-unquote monster things. For fuck's sake, I've written an entire book series where the main character is a goddamn sex witch. Okay? I have an entire book series about what the main character is a witch. You don't think I fucking love witches? I fucking love witches. They're fucking awesome. I love everything about them.
Practicing magic for personal gain. They exist as a concept in basically every culture's folklore, and if we're being honest with ourselves, historically, most of the time, they were used as an excuse to punish or control women. Except in the case of the Salem witch trials. I made like a whole 30-minute long video about that one. That was women being mean to other women.
Yeah.
Men involved, but that one was the fault of women. Well, teenage girls, but...
This better not awaken anything in me.
Dwarf Lord, I'd make no promises. Just... Fuck, shameless plug, but just read my book and tell me it doesn't awaken something in you.
Stance. They're so deeply embedded in our culture, too, that there isn't even really like an anchor point for, where they started or where they came from. Like Dracula, the novel, like clearly cemented vampirism into our culture, but that's not really the case with witches. That being said, the reason they're often depicted with green skin is directly because of the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
And the only reason they gave her green skin is because they had this new technology, Technicolor film, and they wanted her to like visually pop. And they were like,
I'm gonna actually kind of disagree. That people think of witches with the green skin. Yeah, there's a little bit of stereotypicalness with it, but honestly, I don't think the green skin is necessarily the first thing everybody, not necessarily the first thing that people associate with. When people see green skin witch, all they think is Wizard of Oz. Isn't that? Are most Halloween masked green skin witches? I've seen, I say you're thinking of the Tin Man. The Tin Man is the one, the actor who played the Tin Man is the one who got sick from the paint, not her. Wait, no, sorry, no, I'm wrong. I'm incorrect. You are right. She did, because we watched the video on that. She actually got sent to the hospital and they said, get the fuck out of the hospital and come back to work when the makeup was causing her problems. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And yes, she got burned bad because of the stunt of when she was supposed to go through the floor during the opening scene in the Munchkin Village. Yeah, it's like Hollywood fucked these actors up. Hollywood royally fucked these actors up in The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, when I think of, the spooky, scary witches, the ugly ones, I don't think of the green face paint. I think of, the old hags with warts and looking decrepit. I don't think the Wizard of Oz witch when I think of, the Hollywood witches, as the scary monster thing.
Green's not a human skin color, so, it's kind of scary, I guess. The association stuck. And now they've been co-opted by women who reek of patchouli and think rocks have magic powers. #witch talk. Where do witches sit on our tier list? Solid D tier. Rock solid D tier. I cannot
Hi.
think of a more D tier monster than a witch.
Oh!
What? Why would I be afraid of a single woman who lives alone in the woods?
Trout!
Rock solid D tier. Next up,
Yola?
ghosts. Ghosts are another one that have pretty much always been around as a concept in every human culture. Where does our soul go when we die? Heaven, hell, eternal nothingness, or the upstairs bathroom? Sometimes ghosts represent what a culture represses: injustice, regret, debt. Sometimes they represent the concept of unfinished business. Somebody dies before they wrap up their earthly deeds, and now they're...
Well, it's not. I think so. The way he postulated it, yeah, he didn't factor in covens. So he just said a single, he just said a single female living in the woods, D tier, and ignored her power, ignored her magic, ignored the coven thing. Again, which is fucking S tier. Fucking S tier right here. Now, as far as ghosts, I'm thinking he's gonna put ghosts in a B tier. I think he might B tier the ghosts.
Concept of unfinished business. Somebody dies before they wrap up their earthly deeds, and now they're cursed to wander in this spiritual form eternally. Historically and generationally, nobody else was nearly as obsessed with death, and by extension ghosts, as the Victorians were. Newspapers serialized ghost stories, seances were huge social events, and fraudulent mediums made bank talking to the dead through Morse code.
Uh-huh.
People were bored back then. It was basically a way to monetize grief. It's estimated that 40% of people worldwide believe in ghosts. Including me. I believe in ghosts. I lived in a haunted house. I'm serious. Weird things used to happen in that house. Noises, things would move. There were knocks on the doors in the middle of the night. Moved out of the house, nothing happened. Was it a gas leak? No, I checked for a gas leak. I'm serious. That house was haunted. Also, when you live in a haunted house, it's nothing like the movies. It's not like, ooh, spooky things are happening and I need to investigate as the plot develops and I find out what's going on. No, they're just incredibly annoying. Ghosts are so annoying. You're like sitting in the living room trying to watch a movie and they're like knocking shit over upstairs. His name was Roger. He was the previous homeowner. He built the house back in the 40s, died of a heart attack in the living room. I found this out like 2 years after I lived there. Super annoying ghost. Incredibly annoying ghost. Every time I would remodel rooms, it really pissed him off. He'd act up. I'm not sorry, Roger. You've been dead for 30 years. Get over it. It's my house now. So it was a different house. It's not this house. This house isn't haunted.
That you know of.
Where do ghosts sit on our tier list? Ghosts. What a fun word to say. Ghosts.
And actually, Tesla Rax, I did do a monster tier list. Not necessarily a Halloween monster tier list. I did a Hollywood monster tier list. I did do one. I did one with Lucy Goose. Back when I first, back during the early days of when I first started streaming, probably a couple months after I started streaming, I actually did a collab with Lucy Goose VTuber, and yes, it is on YouTube. I did put it on YouTube. But I actually did a monster tier list with her. I did. It's on my YouTube channel. It's probably from like about a year ago.
C. They're the most C-list creature I could even think of. I'm not even going to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Well, technically I am with this sentence because they're like the most baseline monster, you know? Ghosts. Ghosts. C. Capital C. Capitalize that C. Mummies. Ancient Egyptians believed the soul, which they called the Ka, required the body to be preserved in order to reunite in the afterlife. Through the lengthy process of mummification, this preservation was possible. Mummies weren't horror, they were sacred engineering. Europeans saw this and thought, cool, let's snort them. I'm dead serious, too. From the Middle Ages through the 1800s, ground mummy powder, called mummia, was sold as medicine throughout Europe. An ancient religious rite performed to the exacting standards in order to ensure that your body can reunite with your soul in the afterlife. Until a few thousand years later, when a British guy digs you up, grinds you into a powder, and by the 19th century...
Emotep.
Nito, since the TTS won't do it right, it's Emotep. 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 There you go. TTS doesn't do that justice. Yeah, well, Zeb either ate them or started them. Yeah, you're right. That's why the mummies are so frickin' rare. And leave us not forget that part of the process of mummification is that what were they called? I forget their job title, but the ones that the individuals that prepared the mummies, don't forget, like they would take a wire, stick it up like a superheated wire, stick it up your nose, up into your brain, swirl it around, and pull your brains out through your nose. That was an actual process as a part of mummification. Your brains literally got scrambled up and then pulled out through your nose.
Pre-colonial archaeology turned Egypt into a theme park. As previously mentioned, Victorians were obsessed with death for some reason, and mummy unwrapping parties became all the rage for the Victorian elite. Sipping champagne while somebody peels back 3,000-year-old bandages. Which I don't even understand, like, as a concept. There's no mystery to it, you know? It's always going to be a crispy dead guy wrapped up in there. It's not like there's going to be, like, there's never going to be anything different. It's a crispy dead guy, 100% of the time. When Tutankhamun's tomb was opened in 1922, several members of the expedition died within a year. Worth noting,
the mummy's
most
curse.
of them died of bacterial infections or fungal infections. There's a belief that they may have been exposed to a fungus inside of the tomb that led to infections, which led to death. Also, there is the fact that it was such a large expedition that several of the members dying within a year isn't even statistically anomalous, especially in the 1920s. But either way, the media ran with it.
Much more likely, like you said, like a large excavation party losing a couple members in the 1920s was unusual. But leave us not forget, these mummies were buried thousands of years ago. There was bacterium around 1,000 years ago that people in the 1920s had never, quote unquote, seen before. It's kind of like the whole concept of how there are bacterium and viruses trapped underneath the poles, where they got trapped there during the Ice Age. And if those viruses or bacterium were released today, the human bodies would have no way to counter, because we've never experienced anything like that before. We would have no antibodies to protect us, and the concept of being able to create a vaccine for these like prehistoric viruses would take so long, there's a good chance it would wipe out a very high percentage of the planet. And so, these bacterium exist, like, residing in Egypt thousands of years ago and kept preserved, because remember, I'm reasonably sure that the sarcophagi that these pharaohs were buried in was not airtight, but pretty close to it. And if any of these viruses or bacterium were either in the mummy, in the bodies of the mummies, or in the bandage wrappings, or just in the air and happened to get trapped in there, you pop open that sarcophagus, you are releasing bacterium and viruses that have been trapped in there that may not exist anymore in the modern day, and therefore the body has no clue how to fight it. And by the time the antibodies can figure out how to fight it, you're already dead. So, basically, Plague Inc. did a time capsule. Essentially speaking, So, that is very likely what happened there.
Curse of the Mummy. I meant the Curse of the Pharaohs. They called it the Curse of the Pharaohs, not the Curse of the Mummy, but you wouldn't have known if I didn't clear that up just now. In 1932, the film The Mummy turned that superstition into romantic tragedy. Also, we are learning how integral to our culture cinema was in the 1930s and 40s. The 1999 remake, starring my boy B. Fraze, turned it into an adventure. It's one of the greatest films of all time.
Yes! Great fucking movie. This movie was phenomenal. His movie is what propelled Brendan Fraser to his stardom at the time. This was great. Great fucking movie. Absolutely fantastic. Arnold Vosloo was fantastic as Imhotep. What was her name? Oh God, what is her name? Who played Evie? Rachel Weisz. Rachel Weisz was great as Evie. Yes, Scary Guy. He almost got killed making this movie with the hanging scene. They misjudged the rope or whatever, and it almost killed him. That is correct. It actually fucked up his back majorly. Like, he is still dealing with the injuries that he received during making of this movie. Thank you, Dwarf Lord. I hope you enjoyed them. I do hope that they are enjoyable for you. That was the Magi. Yes. I can't think of the actor's name. I know you're talking about, but yeah, who played Artis. I forget what Artis's last name was, but yeah, the Magi Artis. Oh, you did E4? I hope you like it. I do. Yeah, George. But George the Junk was fine, and Sailor Man, of course, is how he first got his start. The Mummy is what kicked off, really propelled him to stardom. This movie is what got Brendan Fraser into stardom.
I mean, I'm not just saying that because I was a little kid when it came out. Shit still holds up. Where do Mummies sit on our tier list? I'm going to give them A tier. Instantly recognizable. You know, they got the ancient mystery surrounding them. They got that 1999 film starring Brendan Fraser. Great flick. Yep. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Great flick. The only thing holding me back from S tier is that tweet about what mummies do when they get you.
Hey, what do mummies do when they catch you? Like a zombie eats your brain, a vampire drinks your blood. What does a mummy do? They just beat you up. Not wrong. They're not wrong.
Because I think about that tweet every day. In discussing the origins of these monsters, we've mentioned nearly every country in the world so far. England, Romania, ancient Babylon, Egypt, Greece, Europe. I think I mentioned Austria at one point. 7 of the 8 countries in the world. Now it's time to talk about the 8th and most important country in the world, America. The Headless Horseman. America imported a lot of its monsters from other cultures, primarily Europe, but in 1820, Washington Irving invented a specifically American monster, the Headless Horseman. A soldier decapitated in war, doomed to ride eternally in search for his head. It's a very distinctly post-revolution myth. It's America's first folklore celebrity, and the symbolism? Oh, chef's kiss! America is a nation founded in a blood-drenched revolution, and the first piece of folklore we create is the story of a soldier who lost his head and is doomed to blindly and mindlessly charge through the night with an insatiable bloodlust. Oh! Put the Headless Horseman in triple S tier. Put him up there next to the werewolf. Demons and the devil.
Okay.
This one's pretty obvious. Historically and culturally, America has always been a Christian nation. Fight me about that one in the comments. It's pretty easy to prove. All you have to do is crack open a history book. That being said, it's kind of obvious that the enemy of our God would be associated with evil and darkness. Insofar as the modern representation of demons and the devil basically gets its origins in medieval European Christian art. If you're going to depict something that represents the antithesis of the Christian God, it would make sense to draw inspiration from pagan gods. Most of these pagan deities were representations of things like fertility or a bountiful harvest, and so they were represented with signs of fertility or a bountiful harvest, like cows or goats. And the association between these pagan deities usually represented, with a man with a goat's head, then came to represent demons and the devil in Christian.
Yeah. Hate to tell you guys, but the majority of Christianity is kind of built off of the bones of of pagan religions that came before it. Unfortunately, that's like a lot of the stuff that like there's been, there's a lot of the stuff in the Bible that pulls direct inspiration from other religions that came before it. I mean, for the love of all that is holy, the Bible is literally called the New Testament when the Torah is the Old Testament. It literally piggybacks off the conclusion of the Torah and starts its book after on the back of the Torah. So yeah.
Imagery. The church created a visual language for evil that is so heavily ingrained in our culture that it's 2,000 years later and metal bands
all
are
I'm
still
saying about
using it on the cover of their albums. Where do demons and the devil sit on my tier list? They don't. I don't want them on my tier list. Get them out of here. Put them down in hell. All right, just for technicality's sake, since in the video last year I said I would talk about goblins and ghouls, we're going to talk about goblins and ghouls. Goblins originated in the Middle Ages in Europe and were basically just annoying little spiritual pests. If the year was 1265 and you're in modern-day France and you lost your car keys, you blame it on a goblin. Really nothing special to them, just kind of annoying.
It's from the description that he just gave, it almost sounds like goblins and gremlins are like interchangeable. Because the description he just gave is what we would call a gremlin. So I'm guessing that goblins sort of evolved into what we in the modern day call a gremlin.
Goblins, C tier, very mid creature, just an annoying little pest. I dig the fact that they collect knickknacks and shiny things because I do the same thing. C tier, goblins, C tier. Goblins. Ghouls. Ghoul comes from the Arabic word ghoul, which means to seize. They're an ancient Islamic myth of ghosts that lure you off of the trail and steal your shit. They're ghosts that steal. They're larcenous ghosts.
Yeah, they're ghosts.
D tier. Skeletons.
Uh-huh.
While the origin of skeletons is hotly debated, many agree that they were invented in 1947 by Richard Skeleton when he first discovered them. Yeah, this one's pretty obvious. You see a skeleton, there's a very clear implication that the person it belonged to is no longer with us. What with? Because they're a skeleton now. Although, I was just thinking about this the other day, where it's like, did the first person who saw a skeleton know what it was? Unless they actively watched someone decompose into a skeleton, you'd think, like if they were just walking through the woods and you see a human skeleton and you didn't have the context to know that's what's inside you, would you be like, what the fuck is that thing?
Amber,
I would
look
postulate.
out. There's a skeleton in the room with you right now.
Where's skeleton? Hang on. Shit. My weapon is upstairs. Chat. I'm gonna. L. Chat. The skeleton. It got Nate. Tell Scout I love her. Oh, and now I am a ghost. Boom! I'm a ghost. What was I just about to say? Oh, yeah, I'm going to actually slightly disagree with what Trout's saying. Like, the first person that saw a skeleton was like, what the hell, how'd they figure out it was a skeleton? I actually think that they may have, that the first person to see a human skeleton, yes, and to wish that's where I'm going. The first person to see a human skeleton probably recognize the similarities to... Oh, Kirby, are you gonna throw me a bone, baby? Oh, God, Kirby, where's the bone? I want the bone. Well, undoubtedly said, yeah. But like, I think that people, like ancient peoples, would probably have recognized, like this, like a human skeleton, and probably seen the similarities between the animal skeletons that they'd already been exposed to by hunting, and then seeing a human skull and be like, you know what, that looks really fucking similar. And I think they probably would have figured it out pretty quick, honestly.
I feel like it's probably like biologically ingrained in us to know what a human skeleton is. I don't know. Interesting thought experiment. Skeletons. A tier. Classic spooky. You look at a skeleton, you go, oh, that's a dead guy. A tier. Animal speed round. Black cats. S tier. Sick ass animal.
Hell yeah!
Sorry you were associated with evil. Bats. S tier. They eat mosquitoes. I fuck with bats heavy. Rabies, not cool. You guys need to fix that one. Owls. A tier. At the end of the day, it's just a bird.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a night bird.
Yeah, but it's an awesome bird. Owls are awesome. They can turn their heads 180 degrees. Awesome bird. Awesome bird.
And that's kind of cool. And they got talons and stuff. A tier. Scarecrows. Scarecrows aren't a monster. They're an inanimate object used to frighten birds. F tier.
Unless you're in the
all
cabin.
the monsters
in the
I
woods.
can think of off the top of my head. Pull up the list. Yes, I'm happy with that. Monsters are a reflection of our cultural fears. When disease spreads and we want to invent another reason to be racist towards Romanians, we get vampires. When carnal lust threatens traditional society, we get werewolves. And when guilt festers, we get ghosts. But at the end of the day, the one thing we can all agree on is that Brandon Herrera is a lame gay vampire and I'm a cool jacked werewolf. As always, I've been King Trout. Happy Halloween. Thank you for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Love you. Bye.
It's King Trout!
Well, chat. Was that a good tier list? Did we like it? Eh? I disagree with some of his opinions. I still think vampires are at least A tier. I still vehemently disagree with his characterization of vampires. I still think that they are A tier. I will stand by this, that they are A tier. But I do wholly agree with his Dear God, the tier fuck me and breed me right now. I want to be bred. Dear God, breed me now. God damn it. God damn it.